Hi, hello. Sorry I didn't get this up yesterday, but technical difficulties, so I just thought I would do it the regular old way that I know how to do and not deal with Facebook Live. And this way I can show the slides too. How you doing? Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about my SRL mentoring program 2017. Okay, and so I have a local program, nationwide, international, and I'm talk a little bit about it. So let's get going. Um, so you want to become a photographer. What is this program? Who is it for? Right? I'm kind of looking at three different types of persons or types of photographers. I mean, of course, everybody's a photographer, right? But if you're a photographer, maybe one of those high achiever types, one of those people who just want to get better. Maybe uh, you have a nice job already, and you know that earning money with photography is going to be tough, and you just want to see how far you can go with your photography, right? Get some professional tips and training and learn from the best. And maybe you just really want to produce your photography at a world class level and you're not too concerned with business or whatever. Great. This is good if you want to learn about lighting, portraiture, composition, and maybe if it turns into the business, great. If not, that's okay. I still have my other job. This is perfect for you. Okay, that's one type of person. If you're another type of photographer who, let's say, you want to use this as a part-time income, to supplement the income that you have now, this is perfect because we are going to go through everything from setting up your business and what kind of technical skills you need, what's the best way to make money with photography, and especially heavily kind of loaded on portrait and wedding because quite frankly, if you can take pictures of people and make them beautiful, you can make a lot of money, right? Even though maybe that's not your thing, like maybe you like doing landscapes, but in the end, it's taking pictures of people and the skill required to do that. That's what's really going to make you money. Okay, and so if you're in that category, that lane, and you just want to supplement your income, maybe $10,000, $20,000 a year doing photography, great. This is going to work for you. Now, if you're the photographer in the hardest lane, which is if you want to do this for a full-time business and really make it, I'm going to say that this mentoring program is a must for you because you're going to get expert advice and you're going to learn from somebody who's been there, done that before. And if you really, I mean, you got about a 1 in 1,000 shot to make it as a photographer who can earn, six figures, a decent income to provide for your family. And if that's you, like I said, if you're trying to do it on your own, I mean, you got about a 1 in 1,000 shot. I teach thousands of photographers, not very many people make it. But I'm not promising miracles. So if you want to do this program expecting, you come through with 1 year and you go through my program and all of a sudden you're making six figures, that's highly unlikely. But what I'm telling you is that I can give you a very, very good foundation and I can lead you in all the right places to go and what to do. And I feel like I can bring down your odds to maybe not 1 in 1,000, but get it down to like maybe 1 in 10 chance now, 1 in 20 chance of actually making it. But I'm going to tell you what it takes and what you need to do it. And sometimes that's all we need is like we need an honest assessment of where we're at and what we can be. And that's what this program is about too. A lot of it is about discovery and seeing where you are. All right, let's see here. Knowledge is useless without skill. Okay? Knowledge you can get everywhere. We're an information society. Okay? We can find knowledge on YouTube everywhere. I mean, quite frankly, the one of the best deals of acquiring knowledge is probably getting all three of my 3-day workshops on Creative Live, probably for around a few $100s or less, maybe. But knowledge is good to begin with, but it doesn't get you to that next level. And so maybe you're one of these photographers that's kind of been stuck, like you've been doing it for 3 years, you did pretty good, but you boom, run into a ceiling and you just can't seem to get over to that next level. That's because you can't take the knowledge, or maybe you don't have the knowledge that you need to translate it into skill, right? And so, in regards to photography, there's a technical skill, there's lighting, there's posing, there's composition, there's post processing. But there's also other skills that you need along with your photography. There's networking, there's social media, there's business skills and all that. So, you need a tremendous amount of knowledge put into skill. And, that's why you need a mentor, right? To help you organize this and give you the right precious chunks of information that you need. It's like, some of these things that I'm about to tell you through the program, I kind of feel like they're gold nuggets, man. It's like, boom. I took 10 years to figure this out, and I'm just telling you in 10 minutes how to do it. Here, boom, a little gold nugget, right? And so, for example, let's say your daughter wanted to learn how to be an engineer. Okay, you could say, well, I guess they could go to MIT or something and spend $60,000 a year, but basically you could take them to all the best libraries, you know, around the state or whatever and say, hey, go to that library and all the books on engineering are in there. Why don't you just go in there and get everything you need? Right? Yes, of course. The knowledge is there. Everything is in that library, right? And it's free. But what? Someone's got to take it out and organize it for you and say, hey, you need to learn calculus first, then you got to learn the physics and blah blah blah, right? And put it together and say, hey, you don't read this book, read this book. And so all that kind of stuff. And that's why you pay $25,000, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a year for someone to put it together for you. And so one way knowledge, right, is the cheapest form of learning, right? So one way information is like a DVD, a book, a YouTube video, right? And it's just information being put at you. Okay, that's the cheapest form of information, but it's not necessarily the most effective. You know what the most effective form of learning is when you're in a coaching environment, two-way information. Okay, so if you're getting information, okay, so you get information, you try to process this information, and then you show what you've learned to a coach. Then the coach sees what you've done and then edits it and says, oh, hey, you did that right, but you have to pose the person a little bit better, blah, 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 right? So, two-way. You can't ask a question, or a video can't assess your skill and what you need, but a coach can. And if you want to make the greatest strides with your photography, you have got to get some coaching, right? Not unless you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to try to do it, but most people don't have 10 years. Maybe, right? So have you heard of the 10,000 hour rule? They have this book by Malcolm Gladwell. I forgot what it was. Anyways, it talks about anybody who's ever done anything well in their life has usually spent at least 10,000 hours at it. Okay, even if you're the most talented person, you've probably spent more because you're so passionate about it. You need at least. So, what is 10,000 hours? 10,000 hours is 4 years, 40 hours a week. Okay, so that's basically kind of like what college is, right? So let's say you want to be a photographer and you already have a job and you're spending 40 hours a week at your job. Okay, and how many hours do you have to spend on your photography? Maybe 10 a week, maybe 20 at most. Now, if you're single, maybe you do have an extra 40, or you have no kids, maybe you do. But a lot of us don't have a lot of time. Okay? And so how do you make some shortcuts. Well, the best way to get some shortcuts, because you don't have 40 hours a week to spend at photography, is to get the highest quality mentor or coach that you can. Because there's things that this mentor has done for years and years and years and figured out and can tell you how to do it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And now all of a sudden, instead of spending 200 hours trying to figure that out, you're learning it in, one lesson. And so that's really how you get ahead, but you need two-way information. But that's not necessarily the cheapest, but it's the most effective. It's kind of like the fastest way to improve is kind of like if you were to try to learn and become a black belt, right? So if you wanted to get a black belt, right? If your child wanted to become or you wanted, I don't know, some of you maybe are in martial arts. Can you go and learn how to be a black belt by going to the library and look at books on judo or whatever, or go on YouTube and learn? No, you would say ridiculous. See, anything that has a physical skill to it, a physicality to that skill, you're really going to get a coach, right? In photography, a lot of it is physical. Posing somebody, right? Camera position, lighting, and all that kind. There's a lot of you don't realize it. Well, maybe you do, because maybe you've shot a wedding and come home completely exhausted. But there is physicality to also photography, and so anything physical, like a sport, like piano, right? Usually requires a coach to get at that high level, right? So if you think about it, how long does it take you to get a black belt? Probably about 4 years or 5 years, or I don't know. Maybe you can do it in 2 or 3. Maybe you're amazing. I don't know. But it takes a long time. It takes years, right? And so what happens? You got to go weekly. You got to go weekly to that master, and that master has to fine tune your fundamental skills, right? So when you punch, it's like, oh, that's great, but you need to shift your weight a little bit more, or your legs are standing too square. You need to angle it, and what, I don't know. I'm not a martial artist, so I have no idea. Or when you kick, right? Look at that little girl kicking, right? And the coach says, oh, just a little bit higher and put your foot this way, or you're going to break your toes, or something like that. I don't know, but you need that constant rub against that master, right? You need to get into that master's mind and know how they think, right? And then translate that into a skill. So the whole end game for me is not to clone you into what I am. Nah, that's like not good, right? My whole end game is to give you a fundamental base of skills: lighting, posing, composition, and even post processing, right? And with those fundamental skills, you find your signature style. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do you find your signature style? Well, in order for you to be in your signature style, you have to be in what I call the no thinking zone. And this no thinking zone means is that you know the fundamentals inside and out. So when you enter any situation, whether it's bright sunlight or where there's absolutely no light at all, you know exactly what to do. You know exactly what lighting you're going to do. You know exactly what posing you're going to do. And you start doing it because you're not even thinking. And then when you're not thinking, it allows your mind to be creative. And that's when you find your signature style. Okay? You can't find your signature style without getting into that no thinking zone. So that's why what I plan to do is give you some fundamentals so you can go into these situations and know your lighting and know your posing, and then release that creativity so you can find your signature style. Because without your signature style, you are not going to do well with photography, because your stuff is going to look like every single other person's images, right? You don't want to like copy my stuff, right? You want your own, and that's what's going to make you different. That's what's going to make you successful. So what qualifies me to be a mentor? Well, one, fortunately, I'm considered a world-class photographer. So, in regards to photography, I'm considered really, really good at it. What does that mean? A lot of people like my images, okay? I've been recently published in this book, right? The world's top wedding photographers, right? And I'm in there. That's my photo, by the way, right there at the top, Scott Robert Lim, right? So, I do things at a very high level. I put a lot of work into it. And so you're not learning from somebody who's just a little bit above you. That's why go to forums, they're not good. I mean, I don't have time to be in a forum. Seriously. So all those people who are in a forum are just like to spout out knowledge that they've heard somewhere else or whatever. I don't know. Right? So you're not going to get high quality. You're going to get a person who knows a little bit more than you in those foreign type of things, right? Because all the great photographers are not in forums, trust me. Okay, so anyways, you need to learn from a high learning source, right? That's why you pay thousands of dollars to go to Harvard if you want to be a lawyer, right? That's why you pay thousands of dollars to go to MIT if you want to be some science person or something like that, right? So you need the highest quality of education that you get, and I think I humbly suggest that I can provide that for you. Okay, two. Listen, I am the sole financial provider for my family for the last 15 years, and I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years, right? So, now, why is that important? It's not that I'm like super fantastically rich or whatever, but I do live in one of the most expensive part of the world to live, on the West Coast in Los Angeles. Everybody wants to live here because the weather's great, right? It's expensive to live here, and I have been the sole provider. I have a house. I have two kids in private school. So there's some money that I've got to be able to put out. And being a sole provider means what? I've learned how to survive, okay? And every month I've had to earn income, because if I don't earn income, my family doesn't get fed. We can't eat, right? So just being under that pressure for the last 15 years has taught me a lot. And I feel from a business point of view, having that pressure of being the sole provider and having to earn a lot of money, living in one of the most expensive parts of the country, every single month, putting out and being able to do that for 15 years, there's knowledge there that I can tell you how to do it, right? And so I feel that that's a very valuable skill that a mentor can add. Three, I've been married for 28 years. Not that marriage means anything about being a good photographer, but in regards to teaching, I think it's very good, because you know what? If you don't have the significant other, maybe some of you are single, but maybe some of you are married. And if you don't have your signature, your significant other with you, I'm sorry, you're not going to make it, because it's a real hard go to try to do your own thing and then fight with your other spouse or your significant other, right? And so that's why my experience of being married and learning how to negotiate and being a creative, and because my wife is not the creative type, and so we're a little bit opposite in that way, and just learning how to deal with those marital issues and things and going forward. And hey, I know what it's like when you want to spend $5,000 on a new camera and a lens, and you have to go to your spouse and say, honey, I'm going to charge my card on this and do, right? Not exactly an easy thing to do sometimes, and I think I can give valuable information if that's the case. Two, another reason why. Four, I have children, and not that children makes any difference at all being a great photographer, but it does teach you how to manage your time. Because I feel this: when you're single, you have this much time. When you're married, now you have this much time to do whatever you want to do. Now, if you have kids, guess what? You've got that much time to try to do everything. Okay? Now, you can have kids and boom, take this much time, but guess what? You're not going to have a family anymore. You're not going to probably be married anymore. Right? And so I feel that my experience of kids having to efficiently use my time, because I have another life too besides photography, it's very, very valuable information I can tell you on how to be extremely efficient with your time. Okay, last one, five. I've been coaching photographers for over a decade. I have seen thousands and thousands of photographers. And every time I meet photographers, I'm seeing what works and what doesn't work. And so when somebody's being successful and I meet them, I ask them, "What are you doing?" Right? And I've been constantly doing this, constantly on the road, teaching and searching. And so I know a lot of what photographers now are doing. And I can take this information and pass it on to you. And so not only currently do I visit photographers around the world, but for the past 15 years, 10 years, I've been teaching. And so I've aggregated all this knowledge and I put it in a nice little bundle and I want to just hand it over to you. And so and this is really pretty much all I do. I mean, I do about 4 to 6 weddings a year, just to stay current and fresh. But because, how many photographers do you know that can earn a living just educating other photographers? Right? Very, very, very few in the country. And so I feel that I've been fortunate and blessed enough that I do have been gifted in this area to help people move forward. That's why I'm still in business, right? Okay. So those are my qualifications. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a friend who is beautiful, like inside and out, but they keep settling for terrible relationships? And you just can't figure out why. This person is beautiful, man. She looks great and she's very caring and she cooks an awesome spaghetti casserole or tuna casserole or she can cook and why? Why does she keep settling for these terrible guys? You just can't figure it out, right? Well, maybe that friend has some baggage, or maybe she hasn't had enough validation in her life, or maybe she's been abused or whatever, so she keeps selling. You know what? Okay, that situation is exactly what photographers go through, like in their business. For example, this is the reason why you need a mentor. Okay, so I've told people, right? I've assessed their work. I see how they shoot, right? And then I finally get down to asking them about their prices, and I go, well, what are your pricing? And I am floored. I'm like, what? You're only charging that much? You know what? You need to raise your prices $500 right now, or $1,000 right now, or double your prices right now. And they don't do it, right? And sometimes it takes me about 6 months to finally convince this person to actually raise their prices. Why is that? Right? It's because this person has these kind of baggage, right? They can't totally trust you because they don't have a certain confidence, or they've never been in business that long. So they feel scared and they have a house mortgage. And so if they feel if they raise their prices, then, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to provide for my family and all this kind of stuff, right? And it takes a long time because sometimes we carry around with us these like little spots of cancer, right? And so when a mentor comes in and he heals those spots, or he takes out that cancer and pulls it away from you so you can reach your maximum potential. And it's not just about photography, it's about a lot of other stuff. Okay? And former students know this, that really, to me, the technical things like learning how to pose, learning how to light, learning how to compose, yes, those are difficult and takes years of practice to do, but that is easy. That is easy compared to the other stuff we got inside. And all of us has got some stuff in there that we need to get rid of, right? And that other stuff prevents us from moving forward and getting over these certain roofs that we run into, right? That we can't get through. And it's not because of the technical, it's not because we don't take good pictures, but a lot of times it's just our mindset is in the wrong place. And you need somebody, not just somebody to evaluate with you for an hour and then tell you, okay, yeah, you need to raise your prices. Sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes literally I have to work with somebody for half a year until they can feel comfortable doing it, right? Or getting you comfortable to be a little bit more aggressive when you're doing your business, or working with people when they're posing and things like that. And that takes a process. That takes somebody really is somebody who wants to develop a personal relationship with you. Okay? And that's really what I want to do, is that I want to develop a personal relationship with you so I can understand how you operate. And I can say, hey, you do this really, really great, but these things here are preventing you from getting to the next level. And sometimes those things aren't evident until I get to know you for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. And so I feel that's why the mentoring process is so special, is because I get to know you. And somebody, an expert who gets to know your tendencies and strengths, that's the person who really can help you break the barriers to really make it. Okay? And that's really my secret sauce. That's the reason why that I've been able to do this for 10 years and earn a living, because it comes down to me just wanting to get to know you and help you. And that's really the main focus of what I want to do. Okay, so I want to develop a personal relationship with you, and really, it also is personal accountability, right? Let's say you want to lose weight, right? And we've all been there. And a lot of times, oh, shoot, I'm going to go weight and I'm going to get a personal trainer. Why do you get a personal trainer? Because wait, isn't it all the equipment there? Can't you go on YouTube and just look at the exercise that you need to work out your ab, or your biceps or triceps or whatever, right? Can't you get all that information on YouTube? Right? Just watch the videos on how to lift weights or whatever, and do your squats or whatever, and throw that big heavy ball around. Why do you need a trainer? Why? Part of it is because you need personal accountability, right? You need somebody who's going to be there and force you to get up. You need somebody who knows you, who knows that, I don't like doing, working out my core. And so the trainer goes and says, Scott, and pushes you a little bit more on those exercises, because they know that you're not good at it. So they push you in those areas, right? And so, like, if we're doing it by ourselves, we just like to do the things that, let's say, we can do bench press a lot, right? And if we're good at it, we'll just keep bench pressing all the time because, that's what we like, right? But maybe that's not what we need. And that's what a coach does. And so we tend to do the stuff that we just like to do, but we don't do the stuff that we need to do. And that's where I come in, because you pay me to kick your butt, to tell you, stop doing that, start doing this, right? And that personal accountability is what we need to reach high levels of success. So, okay, anyways, that's a little bit of a background. Let me talk about my Los Angeles program. And I've got a few more that I can let into this program and what it's about. But this program also, there's parts of it that will cross over into um, international programs too. Oh, man, do you hear the phone ringing? Ignore that, okay? Why is anybody calling me? Let me turn that off if I can get rid of that. Goodbye, phone. Okay, sorry about that. I'm in my bedroom. This is the only place I can do this. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to meet with you twice a month. Okay, 2 times a month for, 4, 5 hours, 3 to 5 hours each time we meet. So it's, 9 hours a month, 2 times a month. I'm going to meet you. 10 of these meetings. So we're going to meet for 10 months. Okay. 10 of these meetings are going to be these lectures, these 3-hour lectures. And here they are, right? Headshots. Going to learn about how to do, basically waist up, how to pose a female, how to pose a male, how to pose a couple, how to pose groups, how to compose, how to light, right? Two lectures on lighting, business, marketing, and also go over, our best images of the year. We'll do a critique on that and kind of celebrate, and a Q&A at the last one, right? And some life skills. That last lecture, I really love talking about life skills that are important. Okay, so you're going to get all these 10 lectures, and what we're going to do is we're going to stream them, right? So record them. We're going to stream them live right into Facebook Live, so they'll be accessible. So if you can't make every meeting, we usually do it on a weeknight from like say 7 to 10, usually like Thursdays or Wednesdays, right? And we're going to and if you can't make it one week, that's fine. We're going to stream that right directly into Facebook, so it'll be there, so you'll always have them. Okay, so you're going to get those lectures. All right. Now, so also, if you want to do the international program, you'll be able to be in that private group to see these lectures too. Okay, so you'll get that. All right. So now that's the first meeting of the week. The second meeting of the month, the second meeting of the month, it's going to be divided into three things, and we're going to rotate. Like 1 month, we'll do a critique session. Okay, so you'll get your images, right? I'll teach you a lesson. I'll say, hey, here's how you do a headshot. You go out and shoot headshots, and then we come back, and then I evaluate you, right? Two-way information. That's what's really great about a critique, right? And I'm going to be hard on you, right? Because I want you to perform at a world-class level, so I'm going to nitpick things. It might be great for your clients. You might be able to book customers with that type of imagery, but I might rip it a little bit. I'm ripping it in love now. I'm not going to, I'm always saying things in love, okay? Because I want you to get better. And these sessions, quite frankly, some people that say that these sessions is the most beneficial for them, because it's that two-way information. Okay, so that's one thing. So 1 month we'll do that. The next month we'll do portfolio building sessions, right? So we'll maybe plan, if we can plan something together. I'm not going to do it all, but I'm going to help you plan a shoot somewhere in Los Angeles where we're going to go and get some models, and maybe, we have friends that are good looking, or relatives, or a daughter, or whatever. We just go out there and plan to shoot. And if we can plan it style, then we'll do it. If we're just going out there shooting and practicing, that's fine. But we're going to get out. And why are these important? Is because you and I, we need to go into the same situation and shoot. On location photography is the most hardest photography in the world, right? Why? Because it's not controllable, right? So like if you ever see a studio shot that is good, it has to be perfect. Why? It's because you have full control of everything. You can put the little wind blower on for the hair. You can do the makeup and all that kind of stuff. You can have the lighting perfect. You could have a backdrop that's clean, and you don't have to worry about anything behind you. But when you get into in the real world, it's going to rock your world, because there's so many unpredictable elements that you have to deal with, right? The backdrop, right? There's things that are ugly in the background, right? And then there's people walking by, and then there's the weather, right? And then the lighting changes from one day, from 1 minute to the next. And there's so many things that you have to wrap your head around and do. It's very, very difficult. That's why I feel that location photographers are the best in the world. So that's why we're going to go out there. You and I are going to go in the same situation, and you're going to get into my mind and see how I put it together, how I pose, how I light, and how boom, I just put this together, and it's like, wow, he only took 1 minute to do that shot, right? And it simplifies, because when you go in location and you got all this knowledge flowing through your head, you don't know which knowledge to use. And so I can go in there and say, use this, this, do this, bam, there's your shot. Or, hey, you want to eliminate that distracting thing, just use this lens, go in tight, and use this lighting, use this pose. And so that's very valuable, and I feel that you've got to have this. You've got to see, you and I have to be in the same situation and shoot, because we might have totally different ideas, and you need to see the way I see things. It's great that the way that you see it, and that's good, continue with it, but you need to be enlightened on how a master sees it too, and then blend it with yours, and then you can come up with a great signature style. Okay, then the next month after that, I'm going to go a little bit over post processing, because a lot of people ask me about it. I don't feel super, knowledgeable about it, although I've been doing it for 20 years. I started on Photoshop 1 or even before that. So I've been, I'm fairly proficient at it, and what I'll do is I get a little bit more organized with my ideas on post processing, and go over my techniques, and hopefully that will help you, because I know a lot of people wanted that, right? And I'll I'll give you all my actions and my presets and what I use and all that kind of stuff to help you do that. So that'll reflow. So in general, there's going to be 3 or 4 critique sessions, 3 or 4 portfolio sessions, 3 or 4 post-processing sessions. In all, there's going to be 20 sessions on an average of 6 to 9 hours a month. I'm going to be hands-on with you with a very small, I want to keep this group around 15 people, maybe 18, depending on the response. And, if you're really, really hungry and you want to get into this, then I have a few more spots available. Um, and that will be great. Now, on top of that, because to me, to be a great mentor, I need a personal relationship with you, and that means time, right? I want to spend more time. Before our meetings, I meet with you and we go out to dinner. And that dinner time, a lot of time we can talk about anything. Most likely we talk about business, right? And we focus on marketing and social media and kind of all those things that I don't really cover in the lecture. So if I'm covering a topic in the lecture, I don't want to talk about it at dinner time. I want to talk about all those other things that we kind of miss, fall through the cracks. And it just gives you more opportunity to get on this program, and to get for me to get to know you and to help you. All right, so now that's the local program, right? And if you're in the Los Angeles area or close, I mean, I had some people, flying in from Northern California or driving up from San Diego to be in this program last year. So if you're in the California area, it's a great deal. Okay, and that program is going to be start at a couple $1,000s, $2,000 for the year, which is a phenomenal deal to get that type of mentoring and information. Now, if you are international or you are, out of state, what I can do for you instead of being able to meet with you personally, what I can do for the same price, what I'll do is I'll still let you into the forum, right, where you can see all the lectures and see how I post process and stuff like that. I could do a share screen thing and all that kind of stuff, right? And so you'll still get there and you'll still be able to maybe do a Google chat or something, and you can type in questions or whatever. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. We'll stream it in there. I kind of want to do Facebook Live because it'll record it directly right into there, and then we don't have to worry about reposting video or anything like that. But anyways, you're going to be there in those sessions, but also once a month, I'm going to give you solely just an hour of my time, me and you. And sometimes that's even better than the group LA mentoring, because sometimes what I've noticed, if you're in the small group mentoring, you can still hide away and tuck away in your little corner and not really allow me to get to know you and ask you some tough questions. And so you can just kind of stay in your corner all the time, and a lot of times that's not helpful for your growth because you're really not communicating with me enough so I can help you personally. And so sometimes even people who go through the group thing in LA, they still need the individual mentoring. Um, but it just depends how open you are and how much access you have to me and all that kind of stuff. But for the international people, 1 hour a month I'm going to give to you. Okay, we could talk about anything. We could talk about posing, we could talk about lighting, I could critique your work, I could talk about business, which a lot of the times is great. And a lot of times just within the first 2 or 3 sessions I'm able to double the people's incomes, right, and explain it to them logically, how to do it and all that kind of stuff. So that if you're international, if you're out of state, hey, that's same price, but you get 1 hour of individual mentoring, just me and you. And then I'm always going to encourage you to go on, because I do so many other workshops around the country and the world. I'm going to really encourage you to come on some of these workshops, and I'll be able to give you a discount if you want to go on to these other workshops where we can be together hands on. Okay, so yeah, now I'm going to throw this out there. Here's a statewide program, right? I'm just throwing this out there. If you're in a state and you have some friends, and if you can get like 10 people together, right? what I will do is 4 times a year, I will come and fly to you. Wherever, if you're holding it in your backyard, I will come to your backyard. Okay? I will fly out to you, and for the weekend or for 2 days, we'll spend that whole time together, and I will mentor your group. Okay? And it's the same price. If you can get 10 people together, I will fly out to you wherever you are. Maybe not to Alaska. I'm not sure how much it costs out there, but maybe. So who knows? I don't know. Okay, so let's if you want to do that, right? And so maybe like you want to do that, you get a group of people together, and I come out to you. Maybe it's on a Friday, Saturday. Okay, right? Maybe Friday we do the 3 4 hour lecture, right? And then the next day we just go out and shoot, right? And so if you're around the country and you want to start your own little SRL mentoring group, I'll be happy to do that. Just contact me. So if you want to have more questions about this, you know what? I could talk for like 10 hours on this. I probably talked an hour already, and I could just keep going and going and going. But if you have any questions about this or you want to sign up for the program, email me at scottrobertlim@gmail.com. Okay? And or just email me and say, hey, I want the program. What do we do next? Whatever. Oh, also, I can also do payment programs for you, right? If you want to pay it in 3 payments, you want to pay it on a monthly basis, right? Then that's not too bad. If you break it up into 10 payments, I'll do at most 10 payments. That's $200 a month to get all this learning and this mentoring. I feel that it's a great deal. I'm not going to get rich out of this thing, but I love to mentor, and I wanted to find a way where I could personally spend the most time with you and keep it down at the least amount of cost to you, because I know times are tough, and money doesn't come easy, but I guarantee you, man, the money that you spend in this program, it's going to pay itself off. You're going to get 3 4 5 times, maybe even 20 times your investment in whatever you put into it. All right, so anyways, thanks for hanging out with me. If you have any questions, you can also comment down below. You can contact me by email. If you want to sign up for the program and you have some questions, I will personally call you and we can talk about it. If you, let's say you are a stateside, I will personally put a program together for you, and we can talk about it, and I'll call you up personally on the phone. Okay, so anyways, thanks a lot and have a great 2017, and see you later.